Good morning, everyone. We still have an active weather system that's still in the nation's midsection. It's going to be affecting the Mississippi River Valley today, the central Mississippi River Valley. Parts of the Ozarks still under the gun, although that has shifted east a little bit. We'll take a look at this visible satellite loop this morning. You can clearly see we have a swirl in the clouds here. This is induced by partially by the actual thunderstorms themselves. These complexes are very good at doing this time of year. I went out and chased in, right around Arkansas City, Kansas, and saw some great structure. Did not see a tornado. Drove through some pretty good rains last night, but that activity is now shifted into Missouri and into Arkansas. That's actually beginning this morning. So this right about now is when the current activity is going for this afternoon. You can see some thunderstorms forming in northern Arkansas and a very definite line of storms approaching the Appalachians later on today. And if we look at the outlooks, certainly we see this is the kind of the expanded, because I wanted to make sure I got North Dakota in on that level 1 risk there. But certainly zooming in on this, we have an enhanced risk from just around West Plains, Missouri. There's Highway 60 right there, on up into covering all of Indiana up into southern Michigan. And so regeneration of storms right here throughout the early part of the day, and then a big line of storms, as you saw on the simulated radar, will form in that area there. The tornado risk is up in Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan. There's a very small tornado risk across southeastern Missouri, really, and parts of Arkansas, but one cell in that group could actually produce a weak tornado or two. The Nadocast definitely puts the emphasis, and this is fairly high for Nadocast, 10% with that hatched area right there, a significant EF2 or plus possible there in northern Indiana. So that's a thing to watch. Also from Fort Smith down into parts of eastern Oklahoma, there could be some activity with that as well. But that's from the 0Z data from the thunderstorm line that moved through there already. So this is actually meant for later on today. We'll take a look at CSU's outlook. They do put a little tornado maximum there in north central Arkansas. It needs to be watched for especially initial storms later on this afternoon. Otherwise, it's a wind machine, a wind bag, as I like to say, like last night's squall line in western Oklahoma, with a 45% probability of severe winds from southern Illinois, Indiana, up to around Cincinnati. On Thursday, the whole thing shifts to the east with North Carolina all the way up to Maine in a level 2 out of 5. And again, kind of this area here connected with the jet stream up here in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the Dakotas with a level 1. CSU is really hitting the wind pretty hard in Virginia and the North Carolina in particular. Not much of a tornado risk, but what does exist is up in New England and extending, kind of dribbling really south into Pennsylvania. And then on Friday, again, severe weather risk in the northern plains, from North Dakota to northern Wisconsin, UP and Michigan. Very common this time of year to see that activity. If we check CSU's outlook, and they really emphasize actually a 5% tornado risk up there. This is most likely from line of thunderstorms that will form something like this and move through there, and any embedded tornado possibilities that would exist in that type of situation. It's always possible. Otherwise, it's a hail and wind machine too, although the probabilities aren't that high. Then getting into weekend, Saturday, same general area. Sunday, it drips down into the Nebraska-Iowa area, but you'll notice that this area remains relatively free of storms, where high pressure is building in with hot air, really. Not necessarily stable, but capped environments that don't allow thunderstorms to develop. This activity actually pushes eastward on Monday with what appears to be another little trough of low pressure and a cool front associated with that. And then on Tuesday, targeting Ohio, where again, this time of year, they do expect thunderstorm areas to kind of sweep like that out of the west-northwest toward the east-southeast. And then we'll look at the supercell composites finally, first 7 days here, beginning today. And definitely a hotbed of activity there in Nebraska and Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the Dakotas. It backs up a little bit, getting into July 1st, the week right before that, and right down the pipe here from the Dakotas right down to Kansas, and then it shifts north even more in the early part of July, affecting those same areas. So if you're up there in the northern plains, this is what you tend to expect: summertime thunderstorms that come at you kind of from either a westerly or a northwesterly direction, with high winds being the primary calling card, and occasionally an embedded tornado. And that's certainly what that looks like here for the next, week 2 and week 3, certainly. Thanks for watching today's edition of Severe Thunderstorm Outlooks. This is published every day after the morning Storm Prediction Center update. Also, remember to check that site off on day 1 because they update it fairly frequently. If you like this video, please like it. Also, you can subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.